What is up, people? It's Wednesday, so if you were here with me last week, you know what this is. If not, I'll put a little posting somewhere in this video of my Friday night movie recommendations. If you weren't here last week, I said, in the middle of the week, you're thinking about what you're going to do during the weekend. So I'm going to give you my top movies to watch, one in each genre. So this first one, it's going to be like an action adventure kind of deal, and it was really good. It's got Sam Worthington in it, the guy from Clash of the Titans. It's got Elizabeth Banks in it, Jamie Bell, Anthony Mackie, Genesis Rodriguez, and Ed Harris. I like whatever Ed Harris is in. He's a really good actor. This one is Man on a Ledge. And through the trailers and everything, I was like, you know what, this movie's going to suck. Because it looked like one of those stuck-in scene kind of deals where the guy's just staying in one spot. And for the part of the movie, it's pretty much that. In the beginning, you see him, this guy here, Sam Worthington's character, he breaks out of jail. And all of a sudden, he goes to this main stretch of highway, and he goes into a hotel, climbs out the window, is on a ledge. So he's bringing all this attention to him. And at first, seeing the trailers, I was like, oh, is this what this movie's going to be? But no. There's a story, a whole plot line, but he was framed, and he's trying to clear his name. So as he's on the roof over here, getting all the attention, over here, something is going on, and his brother is trying to uncover what's going on and trying to clear his name. So to tell you the truth, this movie was probably 10 times better than I thought it was going to be. I remember getting this only for a few bucks, not expecting anything, and it totally opened my eyes. This is probably one of the better movies you'd see in a long time. I know it was one of the best I've seen, but your taste will differ, but this is a really good movie. I'd say watch it. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it 7 fingers up. Maybe 7.5, but it's a good one. I say watch that. If you're in for a comedy, if you're having a bad week and you need a comedy, I showed this in one of my updates, and it's really funny. It's newer. It's The Heat with Melissa McCartney and Sandra Bullock. Pretty much them two are investigators, but they're on the opposite side of the spectrum. Sandra Bullock is one of those straight to the books kind of deal, does nothing wrong. It's always her call. It's always good. She always goes by the book. She doesn't do anything out of the ordinary. On the other hand, you got Melissa McCartney, who does it whatever way she wants, gets the job done, but it's totally against regulations and such. And at one point, they're going after a drug dealer, and somehow these two get put together because it's in Melissa McCartney's jurisdiction, and Sandra Bullock gets sent down, and it's just them two and their hijinks. I think it's a really funny movie. There's definitely parts in this that are funnier than others, but overall it's a funny movie. Just Melissa McCartney's hijinks and such. If you've seen her in movies, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're in for a comedy, The Heat. This one I got yesterday, and it's a very interesting movie. It's more of it's got its horror or scary aspects to it, but it's also got comedy. Now, I'm not saying there's jokes in it, but just the way they put the stuff in there, it's kind of funny. Like I said, it's not like you'll see or hear jokes that'll make you laugh all of a sudden, but just the way they put some of the stuff in it, it's interesting. It's a scary comedy, I guess you want to call it, and that's You're Next. Like I said, I picked this up yesterday. So in the beginning, you see this couple in this house, and the husband's in the shower, and the wife is just looking around, and all of a sudden you hear noises. So the husband comes out of the shower and is looking around, and you see on the window in blood. Well, you're guessing it's blood. It says, "You're next." And he sees his wife outside. He turns around and he gets killed. Plotline thickens. You see a family. It's a husband and wife, and they're getting ready for a reunion. All their kids are coming to this dinner, and all of a sudden you see everyone arrive. They're eating dinner, and then all hell breaks loose. And as the story progresses, the plot line thickens. I don't want to give anything away, but let's just say there's a lot of killing in this movie. And in this movie too, there was some points that some of the people just did stupid shit. I don't know if it's the way they portrayed it, and like I said, there's underlining funny parts. I don't know if they meant it that way, but there was some points where it's just like, why would you do that? Like, you watch scary movies and, it's like, why would you run upstairs if you hear a noise? Those kind of things. It's not that. There's things in here where it's just like, why, like, what are you thinking at the given point? But in essence, it's an interesting movie. It's different. The only other thing that I find interesting is at one point in this movie, it's partly survival too. You'll see it. There's this one girl who is pretty much fighting for her life, and she sets up all these traps and stuff. And as she's setting up these traps, there's like 80s synth music. Like, it reminds me of like movies from the 80s, like those cheesy horror movies where all of a sudden this funny music starts playing. Well, the music starts playing in here, and it brings me back to one of those like 80s like shopping mall kind of deal. Like, it was a good movie though. I'd say definitely watch it if you're in the mood to watch something scary, because there are scary parts, there are gory parts in this. There is a lot of killing in this movie, but You're Next. And honorable mention, I got this yesterday too, and this held up. If you're in for a scary movie, this one held up too. I remember watching the original, and then I have the Stephen King one on DVD, which I didn't like that as much. But this one held up, and it's Carrie. For those who don't know the story, it's about in the beginning you see a woman giving birth, and she was about to kill the kid, but she keeps it, and then she grows up, and this woman is very religious. So this young girl gets brought up, and she's like the outcast of the school. And there's bullies in the school which make fun of her. And all of a sudden she notices that she kind of has powers. So she's reading all this stuff on telepathy and all this stuff. And at the end, most people know, at the end they screw her. Like, there's one part at the prom where this one girl just totally ruins her day, and she goes nuts, and all hell breaks loose. But this one holds up. I wasn't expecting too much, but now being what they have and the effects that they have, I think it added to the story. There was parts in this that were really cool. The effects were really cool. So this is one of the movies where usually I'm against all that, like all these remakes that they have. Most of the time, too many effects actually make it worse. This time is actually the opposite. I think now with the technology that they have, it adds to the storyline to have all these effects and such. So this is another one. If you want to check it out, if you want to watch a scary movie, it's not really scary. Those who know the plot line, it's not like oh my god jumping out at you. But it's got its parts, and it's got its storyline. That's what it's built on, is a storyline. But Carrie. So those are my 4 movies for this week. If you want, check them out. Some of them you should be able to find on Netflix. I don't know about the 2 new ones. I don't know how Netflix works. If it takes longer than... because I remember when Netflix first started, they say you would have to wait a couple of weeks before you get these new ones that come out on Blu-ray or DVD. So I don't know if you'll find those 2 last horror movies on, but I know usually that Redbox usually has them, or you could on demand maybe kind of deal. But those are my recommendations. Hopefully you like them. Give me feedback, I guess. Tell me how I'm doing if you like it. Like I said, I have that fan page and Twitter. Keep leaving me comments. Send me personal messages. Tell me what you want to see. I'm going to have 2 reviews coming up. Well, 3 reviews of the movies you saw me on Bubble earlier this week. So stay tuned, and yeah, hopefully you like my stuff.